Hey everyone, it's Camille from Camille Fine Art. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I was having some technical issues. Today is Throwback Thursday. And I thought what I would do is, yesterday I did Art Wonderful Wednesday with art for kids, and two of my grandkids were in there. And I wanted to continue that discussion about how important art is to have in the lives of children, in the lives of everyone, but really at the child level, it's so important. And I wanted to share something with you that I found that means so much to me because really it helped shape me to the things I do today. And so I'm going to share with you a little history because I also think that my work and what I've done over the years has morphed, and it should always morph. You should always learn new things, do new things, expand outward. And I realized that I never really put out anything that really I think is a good understanding of what I do. Hi, Bets. And Bets is one of my viewers today. She's one of my oldest friends. She's known me, I don't even want to say how long. I won't snitch on you, Bets, or me. But over the years it's morphed, and I never really said, here's what I do, because now I do several things. I'm an artist, full-time artist, and I'm an author. I co-authored a book a couple of years ago about my journey, and now I'm into creativity coaching, and it's in helping people find themselves and find their purpose, especially women my age, because anywhere from 40 and up, because we go through our lives and we're doing everything we have to do most of the time, and we never get to do what we really like to do, and sometimes we put it on the back burner and we don't even really know what it is that we like to do, and then we hit 40, 45 around there, and we're like, my kids are grown, they're out of the house, now what do I do? And I can tell you, for me, back in I actually started dabbling painting again back in 2007, and I never did it professionally before because it just wasn't something that was put to me in my family, especially the women in the family. We had to get a real job, because nobody really thought of art as a job. You'll never make it, you'll starve, blah, blah, blah. And so I just didn't do it. And I think it's really important, especially now, there's such a growth, an exchange of energy going on where people are tapping into the more creative sides of themselves, and they're not being afraid to do that, which is awesome, because that makes it so much easier, and it's so beneficial to tap into that creativity, because from the child onward, it opens up your world, even if you're not an artist, because you need creativity to learn new ideas, to create new ideas in yourself at the workplace, to create new ideas with how to deal with your child's temper tantrums at home, whatever the case may be. Creativity is the core of being. We're humans, and we're born to create. So enough with that background, but I'm gonna just go through a little bit of history of where I come from and where I am today, so that you get a full understanding of what I do, what I can do to help you, and why I do what I do. So I found this beautiful little nugget. It's a scrapbook, and I was 4 years old when I started this with my great-grandma, and Bets will remember my great-grandma, and it's fallen apart. It's so old, but this is what I mean about doing stuff with kids. She was my first interaction with real art. And I have the china cabinet that she had. And in the bottom of the china cabinet were 2 doors, and that's where I kept all my puzzles, which I still love to do today. All my puzzles, all my drawing stuff. And up in the top cabinet, she never used it for her china. She always used it for like books and little knickknacks and all of my glue. Yep, you got it, Bets. My glue and all that stuff. And it was the old glue that was like the brown stuff in a bottle with the little stopper, and you would dab it on. That's what this stuff is done. And hey, it's still holding, by the way. And when I opened, up until about 6 or 7 years ago, when I opened up those doors, I could still smell that glue. But I had a bright idea that I was going to refinish it, and I refinished the inside, and I so totally regret it because the smell was gone. Because that smell took me right back here to this time. So, if I open it, you can see my grandma's writing even on here. And of course they call me Cammy because that's what my kid name was always growing up by the family. And it was all, she was so proud. She said, Scrapbook, cut out and posted by her. Cammy's Scrapbook, cut out and posted by her, started February 1968. Wow. Long time ago. But what I love about it too is, you get to see the styles, and all it is scrapbooking. Literally going through old cards and magazines and the newspaper, and I love seeing the old artwork and the old styles of clothes and all that stuff. And it was funny, the things, little Valentines and stuff. And we used to go down to Archer Avenue Big Store and shop, and then we would go down to Neisner's, which then became Ricori's, I think, unless I flipped them around. I don't know, Bets, maybe you remember. But we'd go there and buy all these little, 10-cent flower picks and all these little garlands and little things like this, little cards, so that we could craft. And that was like my favorite time ever. And then if you're in Chicagoland, you'll remember Ray Rayner. Every Chicagoland kid during that time, boy, we would get up and watch Ray Rayner. And then later on, there was another guy who did the Giggle Snort Hotel. And I used to really love him because he would take snapshots of the clouds, and then he would draw images, pictures of what he saw in the clouds. And that just like totally was like, wow, I love that. And I used to like to do that, and I'd be out cloud watching and doing all that stuff. So this is where my start began, and it fueled me through my whole life doing all this stuff because I would doodle on everything. I was a doodle kid, and every time I had a scrap of paper or a coloring book, I would be doodling something. And then I got my first sketchbook, and I was doing all kinds of pencil drawings. Like this is a picture of my mother's mother, my grandma, which I never met because she died when my mom was really young. And then this was one of my dad's family. She was actually a vaudeville star. The real picture is like so glamorous. I totally love it. And, I don't care. This is like an example. I don't care. It was just like papers that I would find, and I would doodle. Santa was really big for me. And then I found some old paintings from when I was... what would you say, in 1981. I won't tell you how old I was. But, I learned how to do color schemes using, colors that were opposite the color wheel and the tertiary colors, secondary and tertiary colors. And, here's one of my watercolors. I started using watercolors early on. This one is like tempera paints. And then I started getting into pen and ink. I was so happy in my sophomore year when I started doing pen and ink, and that really, we started doing stuff like the Rorschach stuff, and that just fueled me. I did pen and ink, black and white, and pencil drawing for a long, long time. I used to love to do it, and that came in later in my life. The pen and drawings. I'm going to show you a little bit. So a little bit of history. So I started there. I started in my scrapbook with my grandma. And of course my mom too is really crafty. So in between all that, she was teaching us things like how to make candles, and I don't know, we'd go doing all kinds of things, making all kinds of stuff. She was a real crafty person, cutting bottles to make candle holders out of it. So my whole family is creative, and my kids are creative. Neither one of them are artists, but they went through like a rebellious phase where they didn't want to be anything like me and stuff. So they would, they really didn't do anything. But now they're adults with their own kids, and they are painting. My daughter did some beautiful paintings in her house, and my son wowed me. He's always been very creative in the writing area. I still to this day believe he should be a writer, but he was doing some drawings for his daughter's birthday, and I was like, where did this come from? So you see, planting the seeds when they're young is so important. And I'll just show this real quick before I get into anything. In high school, I also did, actually it was my first year of college, the one and only oil painting you'll ever see of mine. I did two, but I hated the first one because it looked like I was a schizophrenic. I just couldn't handle oils. But this is my one and only oil painting that I have. And then, and I'm going to, bear with me while I give you a little tour of my existence here. So I started painting again in 2007, and I decided I was going to do flowers. So I did every kind of a flower. These are only a few, but I started doing flowers, and it was, where is it? Here it is. So I started doing little simple flowers. I did a whole bunch. I didn't bring them all out, but it was really I didn't feel it was very honed, of course. And then I thought, okay, I'm gonna try abstract and contemporary. So I love color. So I started doing, I don't know, I got hooked on nails for some reason. I decided I was going to do a whole series on nails. I have a whole bunch of these. And I did them all in different colors and different shapes, and all sizes. And then I started to do like real abstract stuff that, I don't know, I just couldn't get into it. It was really hard for me. I didn't really like it. I wasn't feeling it. So then, I really love MC Escher. And if you don't know MC Escher, he's the one who does those stairs, like the stairs that are going in every which direction and the guy's walking. He's that guy. I love him. And I love black and white and pen and ink. So I really got into pen and ink, and I was doing that for a while. And then I started painting really skewed cityscapes. And when I started painting again, I started as doing artist trading cards, and they give you little themes, and one of the themes was geometric shapes. And so I did this one with geometric shapes, and I'm like, wow, that looks like a city, and I really like that. It looks really skewed. So that's how this was born. Not to mention, I have a terrible fear of heights, so I was doing it from the top down view. And so this is one of mine, inspired by the Marina Towers in downtown Chicago. It's not exactly, but it was inspired by it. And I have another one called Crazy Town. You have to look up on my website. And then I also love figurative. So this was one of my first figuratives I did in black and white, and I really love this one. And I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. But I have a bunch of stuff, and I did a whole bunch of montages of different cities, especially like New York and Chicago and Nashville, that are all in black and white. And when I got done with that, I was really feeling in a romantic phase after I did this this figurative down there. This is I just want you to see that. You see it says, I am happy. Everything always works out for me. Get that as your mantra, because it's really important. Really important. So then I started getting into mixed media. And I can't show you all my mixed media because a dear friend of mine took a lot of it for her. But I do have, these are my earlier works. And these are so textural. And I'm really into old movies. And this one happened to be about Pollock, the artist, the one with the dots who does all the splatters. And so this is a movie about him and his girlfriend, his wife, how they met and everything. And it really inspired me. And I have other ones like that too. But then, I started moving into the spiritual phase and had a health scare after that, actually. I was going through this spiritual phase, and when I say spiritual, I mean like energy healing and, stuff like that. And yoga and meditation. And then the next thing you know, I started painting a lot of spiritual stuff, and I started going bigger. So these are some of my babies. Like, this is my beautiful lotus. That was the first one in this series. I always do triptychs, 3 of a kind. And then I did this one, and this one's called Rebirth. And then I did this one, which is Sitting for Guidance. And because I was in a mentorship program where I was really going through, hashing things out, and they really inspired me. And then these two lovelies here, oops, I got a little glare in here. These two lovelies here were inspired also through my mentorship stuff. And the originals of these are copies, prints. The originals are in Wales. They're like sitting in this beautiful little house in Wales with this beautiful person who is in love with them. They actually went to Ireland first, because that's where she was, and then she moved over to Wales. So that was really interesting. And something that you might find common about me, you wonder, what kind of painter am I? I consider myself a painter of the sun that's within us and the sun that's all around us, that gives us life. And in almost everything you see, I have some kind of brightness or a sun in everything. And now I'm into this beautiful, mixed media. And here's my Dottie that you see quite often that I haven't finished yet. And I did this one for my daughter, who's a nurse, and it's beautiful. She loves Day of the Dead stuff, and it's mixed media, very textural. Actually, even looks similar to her, and all of these things that I'm into, have made me who I am and where I am. So, my goal when I paint is to bring inspiration and to bring happiness and joy and help people feel that way too, and take that out into the world and help others feel that way. Help them find their purpose, because it took me a long time to embrace what I am. And I love what I do. It's made me happy, and I want to make other people feel that way too. So that's just a little bit about me. I do teach classes. I teach online workshops and in-person workshops. They're painting classes. I actually teach you how to paint, but at the same time, it's also a creativity coaching class in the sense of it's like a little mini life coaching class. So it helps you find your blocks and, kind of hone an intention that you want to have manifest in your life, and help you find your purpose. And it's not a guarantee, of course, but it helps you put things in order. It's trying to give you some balance in your life. Find the things that you want. And I use it through a process called Ikigai, and it's thousands of years old, by the Japanese, actually. The Okinawans have the most centennials in the world, and it's because they utilize this type of thought process to keep balance in their life. So, you should sign up for a class from me online. I do them on Thursdays, and sign up at www.camillefineart.com/events. And if you just go to camillefineart.com, there's an event tab. You can click there. And then I also do one-on-one energy art sessions, where I take you through a visualization one-on-one, because some people don't like groups, and we go through a visualization where I can kind of help you uncover what your intention. You should have something in mind. We go through the things that are blocking you and steps that you can take to help get you where you want to go. And then afterward, I do a painting for you, about you, that's based on this visualization session that we have just gone through. And it's really exciting. A lot of people love it. I just finished another great one, and she's going to give me a great testimonial, because I swear the painting that I did, she just ordered new cards for her business. She's a massage therapist, and she's fabulous. And lo and behold, her business card almost matches what I painted, and she didn't see it and I didn't see hers, And she wrote me yesterday, like, I have to send you my business card. You have to see this. So really great stuff. Thanks so much for joining me, and thanks, Bets. I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you have an art-inspired day. Tomorrow's Fun Friday. Find something fun to make your day amazing. And if it's art-inspired, that's even better. Have a good day.